Today's video isn't about jump scares or cheap tricks. These are 6 pieces of real, unexplained recordings, each captured by ordinary people who never expected to become part of a nightmare. So the question is, if tonight your TV flickers, your chair shifts, or your door handle rattles, would you check or would you pretend you didn't see it? If you want more real unexplained footage like this, hit subscribe, tap the bell, and stay close, because what's coming next makes these 6 tapes look almost normal. Until then, keep your lights on.